I went into a wooded park armed with strawberry sugar wafers to exchange for information about Phi culture. Rather than sitting quietly and waiting, I decided to walk through the park, mentally projecting out my desire and intent for any Phi interested in my tasty treats. Significantly, it turns out, I am a nature lover and was thoroughly enjoying my time in the woods. When I go into the woods, I generally open myself up to feel and become immersed in the woodland energies flowing around and through me. It's a great to feel like in some small way I'm part of the woods. Surprisingly, I found myself under Phi attention almost immediately. For some reason I decided to stick to my plan of walking the park. I had 2 Phi following me. Again, for some reason I decided to take a path up a steep hill, although I am sorely out of shape. After cresting the hill, I turned around to head back to a fallen tree where I'd decided to converse. On the way down, I realized a very large, 8 or so, Phi was behind me, and the small ones were gone. Gulp. Without my trying, I heard its voice in my head, "I'll answer questions. You'll give me sweets. All the sweets." It wasn't a question, it was more like a threat. I hadn't planned on offering more than 1 wafer, but after clamping down on my fear, I said sure, and we proceeded. When I got to the base of the hill, it actually whined, and asked how much further. I showed it a mental picture of a fallen tree I'd decided to speak at, and it agreed to follow me. We quickly negotiated and formalized our agreement. I would open the sugar wafers and put them on the tree. I could ask all the questions I wanted and it would answer in good faith, as I judge such things. When I was done, I would add energy to the wafers, making them more substantial in the spirit world, and leave them. Once our conversation was concluded, we would go our separate ways, and he would neither directly nor indirectly cause me mischief thereafter. And neither of us would do anything to cause the other to regret our engagement. By this I meant, no pranks. I asked which court he belonged to. He said unseelie. No shock there. I asked what's the one thing humans who deal with Phi should know about Phi that isn't that well understood. He replied without hesitation, "We're greedy. All Phi are greedy. Doesn't matter which court." Remembering the advice I'd received, I asked and he confirmed that humans shouldn't thank Phi. I asked why. Phi are greedy, take pride in negotiating for maximum gain. To say, thank you is to say Phi didn't get everything it could, that human negotiated better, and had to thank Phi for not getting more from human. While talking, a fly landed on the wafers. He told me to brush it away. I realized what he was saying. He didn't want the fly eating any of his wafers. I was incredulous. How much could a fly eat? "They're all mine," was the reply. "You promised them to me. Shoo away, fly. Now." We were near my car, though it was behind trees. A car alarm went off, sounding like mine. My laptop was in my trunk. He offered to go see if anyone was stealing anything from me. He flew away, returning after a couple moments. "You should come see," he said. "What? Is someone breaking into my car? You should come see," he repeated. I hurried over, finding my car in perfectly good shape. He started laughing. "Is another thing you need to know about Phi. Phi can always prank humans if want. You can't stop Phi." A moment's reflection made me realize that he hadn't broken the terms of our pact. Although I'd meant no pranks when I said not to do anything I'd regret, he hadn't done something I actually regretted. He'd taught me something about Phi cleverness, and how well my own supposed cleverness stacked up. Since I was grateful for the insight, I couldn't say he'd broken the terms of our agreement. The shifty bastard. Smile. He doesn't like squirrels. Always doing same thing. Run on trees. Chase each other. Bury nuts. Dig up nuts. Disturb peace, but not by doing anything interesting. I'm a big believer in the power of your attitude to shape your happiness with life. So I asked him if he ever got tired of his negativity. "Is stupid human idea," he replied. "Phi are nature spirits. Nature is balance. Nature has plants growing in spring and lightning destroying trees, tornadoes wiping things out and beautiful blooming flower. Nature is both positive and negative. Phi must be same. Cannot be just one or other. Only both. Is why two courts, seelie and unseelie. He didn't like most humans, which he characterized as coming into nature but not being of nature. Only surrounded by nature. I asked him if he liked me, because all things considered, he seemed to be enjoying our conversation almost as much as I was. He said, "You not so bad. You not like others. You move like you of nature, not like you just in nature." I asked him what part of nature he was. Hill, he said. That explained his whiny reluctance to leave the hill, I thought. He told me he found me interesting. Why? I asked. You not think like most humans. Dunno if that's good or bad. I asked if he'd like me to come talk to him again. Yes, he said. Bring 2 packs next time, referring to the strawberry sugar wafers.
Break time tip. For Saturn, sure there's good reason to fear it. Saturn deals with the fundamentally real things that we as humans don't like: death, old age, blockages, limitations, obligations, inevitability, and the like. In that, I'm in agreement with SS. But Saturn shouldn't be feared because of those things. If anything, those are more reasons to make it mandatory for us to interact with Saturn on a spiritual level. Everyone likes going for the benefics or the luminaries, but consider, Venus is the planet of tumors and cancer, the sun will puff you up until you get a heart attack, and the moon will delude you until you're so embraced in her mist that you drown in it. All the planets working together will help you in a beneficial way, one by one, but don't get imbalanced in the process. Break time tip.
My wife has had strange luck and coincidences all her life. As a child she spoke to dead relatives she never met, to the point of knowing things she shouldn't. Anything she really focuses on wanting she gets. She wanted a certain kind of rooster for our hen. Not an hour later the exact rooster crows outside her window midday, and decided to stay with us. We live in town, and are the only ones with chickens. She has all the signs of a witch, not sure if it's the right word, and can use tarot cards flawlessly. She recently had a dream. She doesn't remember them much other than ones that foretell disaster before it happens, such as her son going into DKA the morning he did, or that she'd lose her daughter before it happened. In this dream the devil came to her. He was dressed nice but she couldn't see his face. He told her she was his child, that most make the choice, but she was his. He also said she can have anything she wants, that it gives him power, the selfishness of it. Also, since being with her I've confirmed there are ghosts. I've heard the same thing everyone else did independently of them or knowing they did. I had to shoot a dog last week she'd had for years. It was old and in pain. Literally the second I came home I heard the animal I just shot, continuously, ESP when she called for her. Haven't since she told the dog to go outside 2 days ago. My question is, how do we further this and use it? Edit. We've also tested her use of blood. Twice she's asked for something and used blood. It happens almost an hour after without us doing anything else. Also somehow she can focus on someone and either give or take light, as she says. Try taking light from someone we know. It was her first time focused on his car breaking down. It did. She tried to push it, found out he'd lost his license in another incident that day. She really wants to know what abilities she has. She can talk to animals, sense spirits, and what she calls making bubbles around people. Has an aunt that taught her witchcraft, had some kind of mark the aunt says. She can change people's luck on thought. Hell, I decided I wanted college, then that same day felt drawn to one. Right after I was accepted found a free site that gave me many credits worth of transferable classes. Freshman to senior in 2 months. How would you recommend finding the entity exactly? She's really intelligent, even more so with occult things. Always thought she studied, found out she hasn't really. Also she used her blood to enhance her already accurate tarot cards. The symbols she drew with the blood turned out to match Lilith's. My wife has